Wouldst thou like to live deliciously? And if so, what would it cost? Robert Eggers has established himself as one of the world's most interesting active filmmakers, and his 2015 feature debut still possesses a subtle nightmarish power. I'm going to break down The Witch, exploring how it uses what it does and doesn't show you in order to creep into your psyche. This means there will be spoilers ahead, and before I begin, the reveal of our new channel The Horror Exchange is now live. Check the link below. The Witch definitely slots into the slow burn flavour of the horror genre. It presents you with very little by way of pure horror. Instead, The Witch keeps its best cards in its back pocket until required, and fills in the blanks with a rich, dark fantasy atmosphere. This is often a criticism of the film, though I understand and appreciate this creative choice more with each rewatch. The Witch's power is crafted around its corrupt aura and the threat of the unknown, injecting tiny glimpses of a supernatural danger to remind us there is a true evil lurking in the shadows. Our setting is a gorgeous patch of New England country, surrounded by a thick tree line hiding perils deep within its foliage. A family of English settlers move here and build a farm after being banished from their village, and in a deep yet simple plot, the family are gradually infected by the looming talons of witchcraft. The cast here are all stellar, with powerful central performances by Anya Taylor-Joy as Thomasin, her father William, played by Ralph Ineson, and her mother Catherine, played by Kate Dickie. There's also Thomasin's younger siblings, Caleb, Mercy, Jonas and Samuel. So it's a rather large family, but the beauty of The Witch's structure is how it handles this family's relationships with one another to a tragic climax. Due to the film being written in a painstakingly researched 16th century New England dialect, and coupled with a secluded setting and set number of characters, The Witch has an air of a dark Shakespearean drama to it. The central thread that tangles up the emotions of the family is the Witch of the Wood. Thomasin is outside playing peekaboo with Samuel, having a laugh when suddenly he disappears. The camera angle choice to be from the baby's perspective was genius here, before Thomasin's immediate expression of confusion. Taylor-Joy has a wonderful catalogue of faces in this film, a truly impressive film debut for her. But back to the peekaboo scene, what I find so nightmarish is how early on in the film we feel the presence of the witch. A happy, playful moment in time is literally snatched away, replaced with loss and hurt. And the scariest part is that the witch pulls this off unnoticed. It's less than a gentle breeze. She literally takes Samuel from right under Thomasin's nose, in mere moments, in broad daylight, without being detected. This firmly plants a horrific seed in the audience's mind for the film to come. Just what else is the witch capable of? Well, we shortly see just how unfiltered and monstrous she is, after we get snippets of the witch killing the baby, grinding him up, and smothering her grotesque body with his blood, all before flying towards the moon. This indicates that Samuel was sacrificed in the creation of a flying ointment, a hallucinogenic substance used by witches. Here we bear witness to a horrendous act. An innocent baby boy has been stolen from his family and killed by an old hag to bring her a sense of power. It's a decision that is unrelenting to the viewer, and Eggers shows you just the right amount of stimuli on screen to make you understand the grisly process, as well as putting over the unflinching barbarism of the witch. Now, there is an often spewed complaint about the film from here on out that we barely see the witch again, and that by showing her here so early on makes it disappointing that she doesn't have much else to do later in the film. I too thought this on my first viewing of the film, particularly because of how grotesque the design of the witch is and how much I wanted to see more of it. However, in retrospect, I wholeheartedly respect what Eggers did here. After Samuel's death, it's possible to endure the remainder of the film knowing in the back of your mind what is out there. You know that the witch could be anywhere at any time. You know what she's capable of and how easily she can make things happen. You know that she has no remorse. What Eggers does here leaves an impression on the viewer, a blackened handprint that is tough to wash off, to a point where with the right mental approach you can be in a constant state of unease, never knowing what can happen next or when it will occur. It's almost like a game of trying to find out where the evil is emanating from. Yet here, the most prominent source is Thomasin herself, or so it seems. She teases Mercy that she herself is the witch, and that she should never tell her mother or father. Thomasin is essentially fed up here about the hearsay of the witch from the little ones, and so she puts her foot down as a means of silencing the rumours. This, however, winds up being a double-edged sword for Thomasin, as there are several events in the film that make her out to be the witch. Her being the last one to see Samuel was one instance, and her outing herself as the witch in jest to her siblings is another instance. The third major event comes from when Thomasin and Caleb go out into the woods, and they end up getting separated. Caleb goes missing, lured in by the beautiful allure of the red-robed witch, disguising herself with her magic. Caleb is seduced into entering her embrace, disappearing from the family for a while. Of course, it's Thomasin who's held responsible by Catherine for taking Caleb into the woods, another apparent instance of Thomasin's involvement leading to bad things. Soon after, Caleb returns to the farm, naked. He endures a bout of illness and delirium before passing away after a shocking supernatural experience. It's as though Caleb, Mercy and Jonas connect to each other here, reciting similar disturbing phrases. Thomasin is in the corner unaffected, to which the twins point their fingers and talk about Thomasin practicing witchcraft. Thomasin has faced much blame in the film up until this point, not just in relation to Samuel or the other children, but she's also blamed for misplacing the family's prized silver cup. This turns out to be William's doing, but Catherine already has an impression in her mind that Thomasin must be the guilty one. Later, the parents are heard discussing sending Thomasin away to another family. They just want to get rid of her, making her someone else's problem. There's quite clearly a stigma against Thomasin within the family, a divide, and she is pretty much the black sheep, or perhaps the Black Phillip. This is the family's goat who is said to speak to the children, and this is Thomasin's counter-argument to being labelled a witch by Mercy and Jonas. Annoyed at the squabbling of all three children, William locks them all away in the goat house. This is where we receive the most nightmarish moment in the film for myself. During the night, everyone is woken up by a strange sound coming from the corner of the room. A squelching sound. It's the witch drinking blood from a goat before turning and startling everyone. This is the best look at the witch's face you get in the film, and Christ is it unnerving. Her crooked elden features, hag-like form, and spine-tingling cackle, all in this short, sharp shock of but a split second. It's enough to fill you with dread, and it's also just enough of a look for you to understand what the witch is. Yet this is as clear a look as you get in the whole film. It's a truly horrifying reveal with superb direction and build-up to its execution. We also get a look at the witch's influence on Catherine, who is led to believe that Caleb and Samuel are still alive, when in reality it's a raven pecking on her breast, not her children. This too is a freaky image, with Kate Dickie maniacally chuckling away to herself while being eaten away at, when in reality she's gone mad from the grief of loss. It's nasty, and shows that the witch is able to take advantage of the vulnerable. The following morning, only Thomasin remains in the goat house, everything else destroyed, appearing like she is responsible to William, and with him about to act, he is gored and killed by Black Phillip, punctured by his horns. It's a sudden and brutal kill, especially when he is buried beneath a mountain of logs, as though consumed by the forest around him. We then get the final battle of Catherine versus Thomasin, both of which feeling the effects of witchcraft. Thomasin is blamed for everything that's occurred, while she has a hatred for Catherine, knowing her own innocence. Ultimately, Catherine is killed, and now Thomasin is the sole survivor in a family torn apart by the force of the witch. The witch only ever appeared to family members a small handful of times. Once to Samuel, who winds up dying, once to Caleb, who was bewitched and winds up dying, and once in the goat house, which led to Jonas and Mercy going missing, presumed dead. Thomasin is the only one, as far as we know, who has seen the witch and survived. It doesn't matter though if the witch creeps out of the shadows or if she goes by unnoticed. Her powers have no boundaries in this film's approach. Things take another turn, however, when Black Phillip reveals himself to Thomasin. He becomes a man, speaking to her and offering her luxurious delights. Effectively, he's the devil, and he asks Thomasin to remove her clothes and sign her name away to him so that she can get everything she desires. This leads to a haunting climax of an entire coven of witches all performing a Sabbath together. The imagery here is gorgeous, by the way. I love this set piece. All of the chaos we've seen in the film has been the result of one witch. Now we have an entire collective of them. You can only imagine just how many more families have been ripped to pieces by their games. And now Thomasin is one of them too. Her entire family is dead, and she was the one blamed for it. She lived a life of rejection, overlooked and undermined. Now she has the power to live deliciously and feel dark magic running through her veins. Another layer to this is that all of the witches we see in the Coven can be supposed to have gone through similar things as Thomasin. Backgrounds of oppression or loss or accusation, corrupting them into wanting to rage against the world. And Black Phillip has the conviction and power to grant those wishes. His army is now one greater, and all it cost was a mother, a father, and 4 innocent children. The Witch is a film wrought with style, both in its visuals and its writing. It doesn't press your face against jump scares on a screen. It bides its time, waiting for the right moment to send chills up the back of your neck, just like how the Witch approaches her victims. She has an impact without you realising it until she bares her teeth. It's a slow burner of a film, this one, a psychological period piece which is patient in how it delivers its nightmare fuel to its audience. Because of this, it propelled the name Robert Eggers out into the world, and now it floats beneath the moonlight in the world of cinema. Do you think The Witch deserves a spot on our Nightmare Fuel Hall of Fame? Let us know in the comments below, as well as any recommendations you may have for future episodes. I'm Connor from Unleash the Ghouls, and I shall see you next time, lurking in the woods with another portion of Nightmare Fuel.